All right, can you the listener alert is what comes on in the beginning, remember? So she gonna say it, and then once she stops, then you just repeat.
So say I am, and a little something about yourself.
I am Tanaya. My rap name is Hood Princess. I'm here at CIW.
Okay, you gotta get down.
We gotta
get
sit
down
at,
at?
just sit at the table.
Warden down.
Man.
The following episode of Ear Hustle
The following episode of Ear Hustle
contains language and content
contains language and content
that may not be appropriate for all listeners.
that may not be appropriate for all listeners.
Discretion is advised.
Discretion is advised.
Fantastic. Okay, Earlonne,
Yes,
before we
ma'am.
hear anything, I have been waiting so patiently. I haven't asked, I haven't peeped, I haven't spied, but inside I have been counting the days and finally the hours to when I am going to hear your mystery episode. And now you are about to lay it on me.
It is ready. We ready to roll.
Very excited, very excited.
It's my turn, so let's cut right to it.
Okay, I'm just going to sit back and take it all in.
I'm Earlonne Woods.
I'm Nigel Poor, and this is Ear Hustle from PRX's Radiotopia. We're here with Earlonne's mystery episode.
My name is George K.O. Smith. I'm incarcerated at the age of 17, sentenced to double life plus 44 years. I was charged with first-degree murder and 3 attempted murders. I grew up where my uncles, my father figure, these men in my life, most of them were gang members. So I always seen gangs as a sense of power and authority and masculinity, right? Nobody messed with these people. 23-inch arms, tall men, San Quentin built prison experiences, so no one really messed with them. One of the first things that I did was align myself with that community. Got jumped into the gang, and approximately 10 months later, I would be sent away for the rest of my life.
You know, here on Ear Hustle, the place that eavesdrops,
Yes?
we believe in telling the raw, gritty, and grimy stories.
Right.
Well, we're going to hear one of those today.
All right.
Let me give you a little bit of setup for George.
Yeah, please.
He was a young cat that went to prison at 17. And pretty much as soon as he gets there, he realizes that the fastest way to get by in prison, the way to be comfortable, is to be a part of the drug and the contraband trade.
I had a cellie. I watched this man, he used heroin. He had been down 25 years in 97. I watched this man take his pillowcase and literally push almost everything he had in there into this pillowcase. He gave it to one of my fellas from the city, right? I'm like, damn, what'd you give all that stuff for? And dude slid him the dope. It was some heroin, but it was like the size of a match head. And I was like, bro, you gave him all of that for that? Like all that, that's all you had for that? And he's like, yeah, this is what I do. But my mind went to somewhere else. I need to figure out how to get that. That's what I need to get my hands on. What do I need to do to get some of that?
There are a lot of topics we usually don't touch on this show.
Are we getting to the underground economy?
We are breaking our own rules. And the reason we don't usually talk about the drug trade or the contraband trade or the underground economy on Ear Hustle is because we don't want to say anything that would make someone feel like we're exposing them or exposing the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
But in some instances, it's the elephant in the room. Because the drug trade is a big part of life in jails and in prisons.
I'm definitely going to learn something from this episode, and I think we're going to piss a couple of people off in this episode.
I think everybody might just, feel a little funny after this one.
All right. Well, let's keep going then.
Anyway, for George, getting into the drug trade means all of a sudden he's moving in different circles within the prison.
Typically, black people in prison don't do heroin, especially where I was from. It's completely taboo. right? You get disciplined for doing heroin, sherm, stuff like that, right?
Right.
But everything outside of black typically used it. The Asian, the others, the white population, the Hispanic population, they would be the ones that would use it, you know? So you find yourself in these conversations and these dealings with these people. You're learning who you can sell to, how you can sell it to them, because you don't want them to get hurt as well, because their politics says that they can't buy dope from black people. Navigating through that, you end up in different conversations with different people. And then I had a little influence with our community, with the black community, Crips, Bloods, and things like that, right? So you're just relaying the information back, going back and forth. And that was a part of the bigger identity that I was building for myself.
Prison is one of them places where, you know, you gotta prove yourself.
Yeah.
So he built up his reputation through the gang life. Now he's running the drug trade, getting involved in a lot of that. And he's, I guess you could say, at the peak of his power.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what happens when a person climbs too high?
Yeah. And it's not going to be pretty, I'm guessing.
17 years into my sentence, everything changed, right? I've been smuggling dope in through the system, conniving. I've been hurting people, fights and stabbings. And I lived that way that entire time. All gas, no brakes.
Also, he has a brother that's younger than him that followed in his footsteps.
Oh.
And his brother just got transferred to the prison that George is at. And so now they in prison together.
So that was just added pressure. Here, there's my little brothers with me now. Same gang, same name, all this stuff, right? He has 235 years of life, and we need to figure out how to live together in this space, you know? So I'm bringing in dope in the prison, and then this day it goes terribly wrong.
As you know, or as you may have heard, or as you may have seen in the news, in the media, usually when people smuggle drugs in, it's through the visiting area.
Right.
Right? So this one day, that's what George is up to. He's waiting for a visit where he's going to get a handoff and get his supply.
There's this process that you go through before you go to the visiting room because you know you're going to go get dope, right?
Right.
So that means you've prepared your anal area, all that, right? So you're standing there, and I don't mind sharing this, but like you literally lubricate your anus. So when you get out to the visiting room and the person gives you the drugs, it just goes right in. So I'm standing there, got all these nervous jitters, but I need to get this dope back. I got alcohol debts, marijuana debt, gambling debt. I owe these people, and I know if I get to this visiting room and get this dope, it all goes away. I go out the gate, go to the visiting room, and I rushed right into it. Not really greeting the person who came to visit, none of that. It was just like, okay, the general traditional, hey, how you doing? Go, oh, good to see you. Boom. And I went to work.
You know, I'm dying to know who the visitor was. Like, is it a girlfriend? Is it a mom?
Well, I'll say this. We never disclosed that information.
Okay.
But the first thing he did is he, of course, got the stuff from the person.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's in balloons, saran wrap.
Like, how much is it, do you know?
I want to say it's an ounce or better, a couple of ounces. And he's got 2 of these little packages or bundles that he needs to, get up there.
Oh, God.
It's not easy, because
Yeah.
the guards are watching, visitors are watching,
Totally.
everybody's just, people watching. They don't know what they're watching. They just watching.
You're about to do something rather private.
Right. And the best place to try to pull this off is by the vending machine.
Because it's this crowded area, right? And the more crowd, the more people that are there, the more likely the cameras can't see you trying to put this in your body.
Right.
The officers can't see you trying to put this in your body. My little brother's blocking, former comrade is blocking, and I managed to get one in there.
Okay, I just have one technical question.
Huh?
So is he like holding it in his hand, or is it like up his sleeve?
It's in his hand, and he's
just like putting his hand down his pants.
putting his hands down his pants and trying to just scoot up, right up like a peel. But then some of the other guys at the vending machine figured out what was going on.
The man that was standing behind me, like these, I know these people, right?
Right.
But they weren't with what I was with, right?
Right.
When I turned around and there's no one there because they realized what I was doing and they didn't want to be a part of that. I'm literally putting the second plug in my body, in my butt more specifically, and there's nobody standing behind me.
Straight in view.
Straight in view. I'm facing the vending machine, which is straight forward at 12 o'clock. My behind, 6 o'clock, I have my hand in my clothing, under my clothing, trying to shove this stuff in my body. And mind you, it's stuck, so it's not going in. So I'm putting effort, like, what the hell? Right. Get it in no matter what, right? It just wouldn't go in. They said, hey, man, everyone's watching you. And I just kind of froze, and I looked around, brother, and everybody was watching me. People's women, the fellas, officers, and suddenly, brother, like the chills just came. I knew it was all bad. So I just left it in my body. It was still hanging out. And IGI comes in, the goon squad, the police of the prison, not just the officer, like the real folks came in, right? He's like, oh, okay, come with me. And when he says, come with me, he pointed towards this door where you would go out to be stripped down. And in that area, there's an actual bathroom. This door is supposed to remain locked the entire time. So the rookie officer, he tells me, stand next to the door. And I did. And I realized that it was open. I seen a sliver of light and I just broke. And I ran. When I got to the bathroom and I pulled the door behind me, and it was a small bathroom. So one hand's holding the bathroom door. The other hand, I was able to pull the dope out of my butt. Mind you, it's hanging out. Put it in the toilet. The moment that I'm still holding on the door and I flushed the toilet and I seen the dope go down the toilet, I let go of the door. Mind you, I still have one of these things in my body. They're getting me up. They want to lift me up off the floor. The strangest thing in the world happened, brother. Man, they went to lift me up and I couldn't put weight on my right leg. Just dropped to the floor. Boom.
Wait a minute. So he just can't stand up?
I would say his whole mental state, his body, everything
like
is just at that point.
No pain, no nothing. I just dropped to the floor. And then I hear the officers, get his ass up, he's faking. So they lift me up again and the same thing happens, brother. I just fall. And one of the officers said, wait, hold up. What if it's true? What if he really is injured? That'd be trouble for them. So they paused everything. And the nurses came and they checked me out. They're like, there's no reason that he should not be able to move his leg, but we're not certain. Let's put this cast on him. And my little brother's yelling, are you all right? So they took my little brother, they took the fellow with him, they handcuffed him, they took them to ADSEG with me and separated all of us.
They all were taken to ADSEG, which is administrative segregation, where they segregate you from the general population. They call it the whole.
Right.
But for his situation, he's on potty watch.
Potty watch is where you would have to sit in this cell with an officer at the door watching you the entire time. And when it's time for you to defecate, they wheel in this toilet, chain you down on this toilet. Mind you, already chained up. Chain you down on this toilet. You poo, boom, it's in the bag. Ain't no wiping your butt. Ain't no none of that. The officer comes, he ties that bag off, takes it with him. They search it, right? To determine if there's anything in the feces. You defecate 3 times. And if they find nothing in your poo, they let you go, right? I need to figure out how to get this thing out of my body successfully and beat this situation.
George, as you see at this particular moment, he's been kind of sort of unlucky but lucky.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know,
I see what you're saying.
and first it was the bathroom door that was accidentally left open. Then it was the temporary paralysis.
Okay.
That changed the whole dynamic of the situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now he's being watched by officers. And it's pretty clear that the officers are slipping.
Okay.
Just imagine having, that's your job, to sit and watch somebody on this little bitty 4x4 window for your entire 8-hour shift at work. No, it doesn't happen, right? I thought it would happen until I seen them walk away, until I seen them walk away again, until I seen them walk away again. My hands are chained down to like my sides, like where my hips and stuff will be at. So there's very minimal mobility. So I'm laying on this bed. There's no toilet paper. There's nothing in that. It's just going to be a mess. And I poo, laying down. That means there's feces everywhere. On my pants, on the bed, on the underwear that I have on. Everything is just feces. I get the dope in my hand and I need to figure out how to get rid of it.
The one little package that he pooped out, it contains 2 separate bundles in it.
Okay.
One contains heroin and one contains methamphetamine.
There's about 2 layers of electrical tape, right? Because you need to secure this. You're going to put this in your body. If it pops, you can die. There's a balloon on top of that electrical tape. There's another balloon on top of that. So I have all this rubber. I have all this tape. This is in my hand. The dope is in my hand, and I need to get rid of all of it. My mind goes to the crutches, right? I know on these crutches, they have holes, things you could take off. That little rubber thing comes off. So I managed to get the bottom of the crutch out. Now to get the dope inside.
But the space inside the crutch is really small. So he's got to compress it.
I throw the heroin in my mouth.
I knew it. I knew it. Ugh.
There's feces on it. I chew down on it till it makes this shape where it can fit inside this crutch. The methamphetamine wouldn't fit with it, so just put the heroin in there. The next morning, when the officer comes and he gives me the food, I get the methamphetamine out and I put it inside the oatmeal and I stirred it up. But the tape, the balloons, I have to do something with. I swallowed all of it. My feces was on that plastic. My feces was on the balloons. I put all that stuff in my mouth, bro, to not get in trouble. The man tastes his own feces, bro. He in the wrong line of business. All the tape, all the balloons, all the saran wrap that had the methamphetamines on it, I swallowed all of it.
That is a low point in your life when you're eating your own shit.
That is definitely a low point. And on top of all of that, he realized that those drugs are now in his system.
Wait a minute. Oh, because what was attached to
the plastic.
To the plastic. So he took, I just want to make sure I understand. He took the meth out of the wrapping.
Right.
Mixed it in with the oatmeal.
Right.
But there's still drugs and stuff attached to it.
There's still residue on the plastic.
And he's swallowing that along with his shit.
Yes.
For the first time in my life, I would be high on methamphetamines. And then I understood what people were, the people I had been serving all those years, what they were going through, why they kept, acting like they act, spiders and stuff coming out of the vent. I can hear down the pods. I hear all kinds of stuff, man. Talking fast, all this stuff. But the dope is gone. The methamphetamine is gone. The tape is gone. The heroin seems secure inside this crutch.
But then he starts to doubt himself.
What if they grab the crutches and they want to search the crutches? End up taking it out of the crutches and put it under my tongue.
Wait. Sorry. So he took the bundle of heroin out of the crutch and now he's going to swallow it?
No. He just wants to hide it in his mouth under his tongue.
Oh, okay.
Just to keep it there temporarily.
Okay.
But remember, to get it into the crutch in the first place, he had to chew on it to mold it into a shape that would fit into the little spot in the crutch.
Right.
And it turns out that in the process of doing that, his teeth put some little holes in the package. And now the heroin is leaking out.
Oh, God. Not good.
Now I'm going in and out of being really up, right? Like the methamphetamines really fast, to now I've slowed down. And my heart is doing some weird stuff. I've never used heroin in my life, so this is the first time on heroin now. I swallow again, there's more heroin, so I'm getting high, bro. I'm on the verge of dying. Damn, E.
Hey, we on the other side of it. So at this moment, he got real emotional. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, as he was talking, you could see it. He just started like feeling it and living in that moment of
Totally.
what he was going through, and he just started like breaking down a little bit.
And, you know, like, you have to sit with that, bro. Like, I have to process that I'm not in that right now. I remember how scary that was, and how hopeless I was. So I'm swallowing, and I know it's all bad. My heart's slowing down, and suddenly I can't feel my right arm. An officer came that I had never seen in my life, and I told the officer, I'm like, man, I'm in trouble. And he says, I know it. Like, just straight to me, like, yeah, I know. I say, can you just please just walk away? Just give me a minute. And he did. He walked away.
So while the officer's not looking, George grabs some more plastic and wraps it around the dope so he can keep it under his tongue without ingesting it each time he swallows.
Now it's time for my poo. Hey, officer, I'm ready to poo now. I was cool. There's nothing in it at that point, right? He says, Sarge, there's no dope in here, but there's a bunch of plastic and balloons and SHIT, right? And mind you, people are tired, bro. They probably 16, 20-hour shifts, bro. Well, if it ain't no dope, F dash, flush it, move on. And that's exactly what happened.
So, to make a long story short, he ended up beating the potty watch system.
They put me back in the cell and told me, you're going to go back to the yard.
You've been discharged.
We found nothing. We found no contraband on you. We're going to take your visits away because we know something happened. We just can't prove it. We don't know what it is, but you won't be allowed in to visit them for a year, right?
And there's one more consequence that hits pretty hard for George.
We're going to separate you and your little brother. Your brother's going to go to wherever, and you're going to go to wherever. You know, like, I couldn't sit with that. He's my little brother. He's worked his way down, you know, to get to me. This is what it's been about since we were kids. We were going to go to prison. They set us up for prison. We go to prison. We're supposed to be together in prison. And while we're in prison, George, you blow it. This is your little brother. And for that first time in my incarceration, at this time, I'm in jail probably 17 years, 16, 17 years. First time that I settled on, God, if you are real, I need you to show up today. It's not about getting out of trouble. I'm already pretty much out of trouble. It's about, don't separate me from my little brother. I made God that promise. Lord, if you keep us together, God, I'll be done. I'm done with all this stuff. Just show me. I took the dope out while I was in the shower. I turned the shower on hot water, burning hot water, and everyone that I knew I had to pay when I got back, I could see their faces, bro. The heroin I could have took back to the yard and it would have really set me straight with everybody. But I was like, nah, I made this declaration. God, if you're real, just don't separate me from my little brother. I'll do anything, right? Popped it out my mouth, put it over the drain, turned that hot water. I'm done. August 8th, my birthday came, and I call a big homie and tell him I'm done. I'm no longer align myself with gang culture. They're like, you just can't come back, right? I'm like, yeah. In my mind, no, I wasn't planning on coming back, but I need to say this out loud to people. So I had to make a declaration like you did. I'm done. This doesn't mean I'm a coward. This doesn't mean you can come slap me. This doesn't mean you can come spit on me. I'm not a gang member anymore.
And you know what?
What?
It worked. George got placed back with his brother.
Wow. I mean, this guy is one lucky dude.
Well, you know, call it luck. But the way George sees it, he made a deal with God. God kept his part. So now George gots to deliver.
Okay.
So that is coming up after the break.
This is, what do they call it? A true cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, Nigel. We'll be right back. So, Nige,
Yes.
we said at the top that we were going to be breaking some ear hustle rules today.
You said that, yes.
I did say that.
Mm-hmm.
And the first rule was talking about illegal drugs in prison.
Right.
We
That's
never
the
really
first.
talk about
Nope,
that.
you're right.
That's the first. So the second one.
Wait a minute. Oh, my goodness. Is this going to be a redemption story?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is a story about a guy, George,
Right.
who saw the light, who cleaned up his act.
Apparently, yeah.
But you know what?
What?
I'm going to tell it. I'm going to tell it.
All right,
because, you know, people in prison, they fuck up,
Yes.
right? It takes some time to understand your role in this world.
Mm-hmm.
People fuck up, but then people turn their lives around at some point. The light switch flip. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that's a part of the prison life too, Nige.
Okay, I'm going to buy it.
Okay. So George, he leaves the gang stuff behind, and his behavior starts to improve. And when cats do that, what happens is you start getting transferred to lower custody prisons.
Right.
Now, around the same time, there's a big change on how prisons in California are ran. So before this, prisons kept, a separate yard for people that wouldn't be safe. Like say, for instance, your police officers, your certain type of crimes that were committed, people who excessively talked to the police, people who left gangs, debriefed,
Right.
stuff like that. So you had a yard just for them. So in gang culture, if these type of people entered, let's say, a general population yard, the gang members had to fight them. There just wasn't no way around it. They had to fight them. And if they didn't fight them within 72 hours, then they would be considered the same as the person that they were about to fight.
Oh.
Because they were on the yard too
Right.
long with them. So the way it worked was, I guess, to keep the peace, the old system was to keep people on separated yards. But now there's a new memo coming down from Sacramento. There would no longer be special yards designated for these type of individuals.
And we should just say for people outside of California, when we say Sacramento, we're talking about headquarters.
Yes, headquarters. So, yeah, when they was like, you know what, we need to break these yards down and just, put them back together as one.
Are we talking about designated and non-designated yards?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, the thing that we can never really quite explain is finally going to be explained. Amazing.
I hope it be explained. And this change is about to hit CMC, which is, as you know, it's acronyms.
Right, it's California Men's Colony, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Damn,
yeah.
Nigel.
I know some of
Damn.
them.
Oh, felon. And that's the prison that George is at.
2019, they told us our turn is up for the non-designated merge. You, general population, who says you don't like rapists, you don't like snitches, you don't like people who need protective custody, we're going to force you together. You guys can kill each other if you want. That's on you. And mind you, CMC West still has its gangs, Sureños, Norteños, Bloods, Crips, everybody's there. They still have the stabbings, they still have the fights. So it's coming there, man. And everyone's freaking out, man. And I'm like, what are we going to do? Then gang members are talking about burning the whole prison.
And that's when George has his big idea.
In the middle of my sleep. Popped up, grow. I wrote grow. I had a sticky pad. I opened my locker door. I wrote GROW.
I hear an acronym. I hear a group acronym coming our way any minute. Sorry to laugh at that, but
Well, you know prison. You know
Yes, I
prison.
do.
Prison is all about acronyms.
And I thought I was going to go back to sleep, and I couldn't. I put growth, GROWTH, reinforces our worth. And I just had this wonderful idea. We're going to have the most peaceful transition in the state of California, based solely on the fact that we know these people. Everybody has a common theme in mind. They all want to go home. So I started on paper, and I told this officer, I said, I got this idea. I said, I have this idea I want to pitch to them about this non-designated program coming up. He says, you know what, George? Put it on paper. So the prison would go to sleep. In the middle of the night, I'd be up, and I created the very first curriculum by hand.
What George realized is that he's in a unique position here. He can try and have a conversation with all the leaders of all these different groups, these different factions, because of what he was doing in prison.
that's so interesting, right? Because he was selling drugs to everybody
Right.
He understood how to talk to them.
He understood how to talk to them. Like most people can't talk to different races and have,
Fascinating.
just don't have that way in.
Yep.
George had it in.
Yep.
So he knows this, and he also knows that a lot of these guys have been in prison for 20 to 40 years.
Right.
Or more. And a lot of these guys want to go home, So if they, partake in what's going on with this bus, then that's going to prolong them to going home. So George starts working on these guys.
These people that are called PC, sensitive need, they're going to get off the bus. That's when your change is going to be determined. What makes you better than them? You murdered 2 people. You're better than this person who, excuse my language, who raped somebody? I don't want to make a justification or distinguish between the two, but you're no better, according to George. So Let's throw this in the air and talk about it. Right? He told on somebody. You ever told on somebody, bro? Just because your paperwork you're in jail with right now don't say it. But what about that last time you were arrested? What about that crime you committed that nobody knows about? What about the fact that you hold tight to a politic that says that we can't hurt kids, we can't rape people, we can't do drive-by shootings, but you're selling dope to all these people that's killing them? Man, I wrote it legibly. It just took me hours and hours to do this, bro. And that's all I heard. Boom, I was done with it.
So when George finishes,
He's writing the curriculum
writing
out.
his curriculum out, he sends it to the administration.
Okay.
And the prison administration, all the way up to the warden, they all signed off on this plan.
That's impressive. Huh?
Yeah. So George started holding these groups with maybe like 50 guys at a time. And he finds himself working through the whole prison like this.
That's amazing, right?
And talking to people, getting them on board.
It's really like a grassroots thing.
But this comes at a risk to George. Because somebody can just be like, man, I don't like the direction this fool is trying to take us. Try to knock him down, stab him up, whatever. He's out the way. This whole thing go away.
Yeah.
But George keep going. He even convinces people to start pulling together care packages that they can give to these new arrivals as they show up.
Wow, like a real welcome.
Yeah.
When they come in your building, they have nothing. So we had gathered up from the church, from the Muslim community. We had gathered up hygiene, chancla, shower shoes, everything you would need getting off a bus. Noodles, all that stuff, right? We asked the church, everyone donated to give to them, right? So it's time for the buses to come. I'm scared to death, right? I'm not sleeping well. I probably was sleeping 2-3 hours a night. I was expecting to be hurt and harmed at some point. The buses come, SWAT team everywhere. Entire prison is surrounded with fire trucks, National Guard, everything, bro. The rumors are going around, they're gonna burn the prison down, all this stuff. The bus comes, we go to R&R, take like 5 people with me. I got a Hispanic man, I got a Caucasian man, an Asian man, blacks, we're there. We mean you no harm. I told all of them, at least 85% of this population is in favor of you being here. Can't promise you that you all won't experience something, but majority of this prison right here is all for you.
He also has to convince the guys that are on this bus, look, we ain't with all what y'all been hearing. We're accepting y'all peacefully. Because, of course, a lot of these guys, they think as soon as they jump off that bus, they finna get mollywopped.
Yeah.
Whoop-wop,
Yeah.
They already got a strategy in their head. As soon as they get off the bus, fight somebody so they can get sent to the hole.
And they think they'd be safer in the hole?
No, they think not just be safer in the hole, they feel they'll be transferred out back to either the prison they came from or to another prison that, served their needs.
I also needed to motivate them because they were getting off the bus, the sensitive need protective custody brothers, and they were attacking people so they didn't have to go out to that prison. They'd heard an officer, the first inmate they seen, they just jump on them to not have to go out there. And then they would put them back on the bus and take them where they came from. So we needed to quell that. I needed to motivate them to know, bro, we are doing this for you. We seen all the gang members out there. They're waiting. The sensitive need brothers come out and they're walking to the exercise yard. There you can see all the fear. Everyone's so quiet, bro.
Once they did it get quiet?
Everything was quiet. And mind you, there's a line of maybe 50, 60 officers completely in all riot gear. They come out and Some gang members, I won't say where they're from, they came to these guys and they just started fighting, right? Mutual combat. The officer sprayed, the pepper spray, and people dispersed. They took those two guys. They took the guys that they were fighting in this mutual combat. 10 minutes later, they resumed yard. Yard's open. Those same guys, the guys that were the first fighters and stuff that came off the bus, they came out again. And this time, we were like, to hell with what the officers were telling us. We just came out, like, all of us, all brothers, to greet this population of people.
There were still some guys at this prison that were not down with this new plan at all.
I'm sure.
Because they still wanted their status, especially younger guys that's just now getting into the prison system.
Yep.
They still want their status when they go to the next prison, so on and so on. So those individuals had a plan. Each time somebody get off that bus, they're going to send 2 people at them. They go fight them, resume the yard, next one get off, they send 2 more.
They were supposed to keep going, right? Clean off those guys who came off the bus, attack them, boom, take those men. 2 more go until they exhausted all their numbers. What the officers did was, you know what? Let's go get all those guys.
So the officers went and scooped up the whole group where they were coming from. They say, since y'all over here grouped up like this and this is y'all mission, then we just gonna take all y'all to the hole.
We had no more incidents after that. They came out, a busload of protective custody folks, and we just got to mingling with them, giving them stuff. Everyone's loving on them. You got those people who cool on them. I don't talk to them F them fools, right? Yeah, F them fools, but thank God you ain't touching them. The other places, people are passing away, getting stabbed, dying. Officers are hurt. You can Google this stuff. This stuff really happened. Families were picketing outside of the prisons to protest against this stuff. Administration realized it was working, dropped busloads on them. They're just bringing buses now. Oh, this thing worked? 2-3 buses. And they just flooded the entire prison. The most peaceful transition in the state of California.
I know you hate redemption stories, but this one I felt was worth making because...
Okay, tell me why.
George had a lot of courage here.
Yeah.
I think George went through all that hell, smuggling the drugs, being in the gang, being in all that, to get him to the point where he knew every angle, every person, every race, every, gang member. He knew them all and was in a position to talk to them.
Right, to use that knowledge in a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, can I just explain why I don't like redemption stories?
Please.
Because I know people are going to be like, what's wrong with you, Nigel?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? This is supposed to be it.
So there's a couple things. But one is, what I don't like is I feel like a lot of people only want to hear redemption stories. They only want to care about people who are, in quotes, redeemed. And that discounts a huge population in prison that is still worth considering, that is still struggling. Right? So people can be doing messed up things and still be worth telling stories about.
Oh, of course.
Do you know what I mean? And the second reason is that I think sometimes redemption stories are just like too easy. You know what I mean, Earlonne? Like first somebody's bad and then they're good. And in reality, everybody is more complicated than that. And what's interesting to me is all the messy stuff that happens. And here, thinking about him using all of his nefarious knowledge to do something different makes it interesting, puts an interesting spin on it. So...
But, it's still, I was bad.
I know.
I did good. I found God.
Wait a minute, is he going to get bad again?
It has those elements.
I know it does.
So I don't want to necessarily end this like this.
Okay.
I got one more little twist.
Okay, groovy.
I want to bring back Count Time.
Oh.
Remember Count Time?
I love Count Time.
Count Time has nothing to do with the episode, or it's some tape that we didn't use that we wanted to use, and we just throw it in Count Time.
Yes, yes.
So remember that lady we heard doing the listener alert at the top of the show today?
Yeah, the incarcerated woman from CIW?
The one that you helped?
Yes.
She told us that it was a program in there that did a rap contest, and she missed it. And she was so hurt that she missed it. And you know me, I encouraged her. So I'm throwing her rap into Count Time. Here's Hood Princess. Do you do music here?
Yeah. Ooh.
So what do you do?
I'm an artist. I'm a rapper.
Oh, they were looking for rappers.
I cried because I didn't make it.
We can always hear you spit right now.
All right, here we go.
Uh-oh.
All right. I'ma make it. Either give it up or I'ma take it. I be tripping, but I don't shy from it. I embrace it. They be dissing. I'ma make it. Either give it up or I'ma take it. I be tripping, but I don't shy from it. I embrace it. They be dissing. I ain't mad. Look at me. I'm amazing. If my life was a hood, I swear motherfuckers would claim it. Doing good, doing bad, they gon' have something to say. Too. Hood or got class, they gon' judge you either way. Broker in your bag, you can't have a nice day. In this new life and time, you a predator or a prey. Everybody got it hard, so it's fuck who got it harder. Everybody trying to make it, so you gotta move smarter. If thinking somebody thought it, you gotta think larger, and if you think you thought it first, then you better leave a marker. What? Huh? Don't ever think you can trust. It's blood or water, folks that don't give a fuck. They got their own problems, they can't let you be one, so stay in your own lane and always keep it a buck. Keep your eyes and ears open, motherfuckers hella bows. Switch your routines up, the ones who know you do you cold. I don't care who you wanna tell, never tell a single soul. And if you friendly out here, you digging your own hole. I'ma make it, either give it up or I'ma take it. I be tripping, but I don't shy from it, I embrace it. They be dissing, I ain't mad, look at me. I'm amazing. If my life was a hood, I swear motherfuckers would claim it. Your friends could be friends with your enemy, chopping it up. They really could be plotting anything. That shit hella crazy, cause it's never who you thought it be. I troop alone, they lying if they say they friends with me. On God, they lying if they claiming plans with me. Cause once one, you gon' always be an enemy. Cause once you switch, you can never be a friend of me. Cause I be damned if a fake be the death of me. Cause I'ma make it.
She did her thing. I called up Antoine Banks Williams.
Oh, sweet.
I say, bruh,
Sweet Banks.
I got this a cappella. I need you to, put a beat up under it. So he took it from there. That's count time.
That's count time.
That is count time, and that is my story.
Back. First of all, I think we should bring count time back.
Right.
I think this is going to be the story with the most references to excrement. Any story that we've done.
Shapiro is not going to like this.
Poor Julie Shapiro is going to die when she hears this one. And I will reconsider my hard line on redemption stories, Earlonne. You may have redeemed the redemption story.
George Smith. See what you done did, George?
So thanks so much, Earlonne. I love these mystery episodes because we never know what's going to happen. Surprises all around. I can't wait for next season.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Nigel.
I did.
My name is George K.O. Smith. I am the founder and CEO of Growth Reinforces Our Worth. I am also the director of Reentry and Violence Prevention for Options Recovery Services in Berkeley, California. Special thanks to Antoine Banks Williams for remixing that song by Hood Princess. Ear Hustle is produced by Nigel Poor, Earlonne Woods, Amy Standen, Bruce Wallace, Rasan New York Thomas, and Kat Shudnicht. Shabnam Sigmund is the managing producer. The producing team inside San Quentin includes Darrell Sadiq Davis, Tony de Trinidad, and Tom Wynn. The inside managing producer is Tony Tafoya. Thanks also to Aristeo San Pablo. Thanks to Acting Warden Andes and Lieutenant Barry in San Quentin, and to the Acting Warden Parker at the California Institution for Women for their support of the show. Thanks also to this guy.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant William Newborg, Public Information Officer at the California Institution for Women, and I approve this episode.
This episode was made possible by the Just Trust, building a smaller, more humane engine of justice and safety across the country.
Earlonne Woods sound designs and engineers the show with help from Fernando Arruda, Harry Colhane, and Darrell Sadiq Davis.
Music for this episode comes from Darrell Sadiq Davis, Antoine Banks Williams, David Jossie, and me. For more information about this episode, check out the show notes on Ear Hustle's website, earhustlesq.com.
You can find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Ear Hustle SQ.
Wait, no TikTok yet?
Soon, right? We need to dance, my friend.
And if you're not already, follow and review Ear Hustle on any of your favorite podcast apps like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Earlonne Woods Show.
Ear Hustle is Ear Hustle is a proud member of Radiotopia from PRX, a network of independent, creator-owned, listener-supported podcasts.
Discover audio with vision at radiotopia.fm.
I'm Nigel Poor.
And I'm Earlonne Woods.
Thanks for listening. Hey, come on, join in with me.
No, I wanted to hear your voice.
Now, can we do it together, please?
All right.
Thanks for listening. All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
In prison, bro, you can be a former Crip or Blood and walk away and become a Muslim or non-affiliate, and it's okay. But Christianity, like
The white man?
the blue-eyed, they be on it, right? Are you gonna go for that again? Sorry, brother, but that's what the language is, right?
Radiotopia.
From P